Hi, my name is Steve Richardson. I'm the founder and CEO of BLAS, Building Leadership Academics and Service. Welcome to the BLAS Chop Shop.
Hi there, friends. I'm Jermaine White, that is, and I work with the Theological Department of BLAS.
Hi, my name is Gwen Todd, and I'm the treasurer of BLAS, and I also work alongside Jermaine White with the spiritual enrichment.
I'm Todd Green. I'm director of arts, and I also specialize in spoken word.
Yes.
And welcome to the
BLAS Chop Shop.
We want to welcome you all viewers, and it goes without saying, we love you. And so thankful that you are a part of the BLAS Chop Shop. We're continuing our discussion on exploring racism. We left off last week with some pointed questions, interesting subject matter. Today, we're actually going to finish up our discussion on exploring racism, and then our next episode we'll be talking about racial equality and equity.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, exciting, boy. I mean, this is a tough topic, but remember,
it is.
we're not representing in our comments. We're not representing a race. We're representing humanity.
Humanity.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's
And
good.
so, so this is definitely we're speaking to you as our counterparts in the human experience, as God will have us. And so we're just asking that your heart be open.
Yes.
Mind open.
You know, and just hear what's being discussed. And again, we invite your input, your comments, all of that is welcome.
Yes.
So without further ado, let's get meat in the matter.
Let's dive into it. Let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up. And so friends, this has always been a struggle and a debate. Whether a certain behavior is either nature or nurture. All right. So I'm asking you, family, is racism influenced by genetic inheritance or by external factors? Is it the product of nature and nurture?
I think it's nurture.
Explain.
I think it's more like community based.
Okay.
Something that you learn, something that is given to you, whether you want it or not. It's something that just is kind of fed to you. You keep feeding somebody something,
Sure.
they're gonna become that thing.
Okay.
So I think it's nurture.
Nurture. Okay. Any others?
I would say it's nurture too.
Okay.
I think it's nurture because it's learned behavior. You become what's in your environment. And that would be more in the line of nurture. For me,
Okay. Todd, you agree?
I agree, but at the same time, I also think it's a bit of both.
A bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah.
Okay. Explain why. Todd, when you say a bit of both.
I agree with Steve and Ms. Gwen on definitely on what they said about being fed to you or being taught to you. I definitely agree, but then also with the environment, the things that you don't pick up on but you see every day.
right.
It's kind of being planted in your mind, but you don't notice that you're picking up on an action and a behavior. Yeah.
Right.
And that's subliminal. Exactly. Right.
Sure.
So that's why.
Absolutely, and I agree that that both are contributory. I alluded in discussing this, but the scriptures in James in particular, when James was talking about the process of temptation, how we end up sinning, he talked about us being tempted, which is external. Temptation usually is that which is outside of us.
Right.
But then he pointed out that there was something evil within us, absolutely,
Right.
which makes us prone and inclined to be influenced by negative things and external factors and so forth. And so there is a combination of both, and I think that what it points out is that, and this is hard for us to embrace because no one wants to believe that they have the propensity to do bad things. Absolutely, you know, and sometimes we want to pass the buck exclusively to something outside of us for the purpose of why we are the way we are. Again, it does contribute to it, but that's not it. There's something in us that's prone to error. And the scriptures recognize that as fallen human nature. Absolutely. All in humanity. That's all right. We didn't ask to be this way, but we inherited this fallen nature from our father Adam. And let's say this, Adam is all our father.
Sure.
Whether you're black, white, blue, green, or whatever, you know, he's the father of humanity. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we share that. Absolutely. So family, let me ask you this. Is there a cure for racism?
Yes.
And if so, what is the cure?
Jesus.
Wait now. Now you know you're going to have to explain that now. Come on now. Because the viewers, I hear that often. People hear that often.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, how does Jesus, all right, how is he the answer to racism? Because some people would place him in the category of religion. Some people don't see racism as a religious issue. So tell me how. Let's chop that up. Come on, let's chop it up at the chop shop.
Because racism, like anything else, is a sin.
Okay.
And
All right.
if we confess our sin, you know what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
No, seriously. And he can begin to start working on our hearts.
Absolutely.
Right? Because God so loved the world, not just black people, white people, Indian people.
That's right.
I mean, he just loved everybody, right? I mean, so when you say Jesus, I think he's the answer to everything. Flat out. But we're talking about racism, right? So.
No, but I love that. So I love how you explain that because I think we're recipients of Jesus, Jesus' involvement in our lives. Let's be honest. I have to be honest.
Go ahead.
I'm a redeemed racist.
Okay. So it's honest time. So we all got
time.
We all
right.
right.
And here's the thing. You know, racism can reveal itself in different measures, in different ways. But yes, I am. I'm a redeemed racist, and I'm not by any means gloating over the fact that what I used to be. In fact, I'm ashamed. However, that was my reality.
That was a reality.
But like you had mentioned, it's Jesus and his interest into my life.
Sure.
The power that Jesus brings, because we said racism isn't the issue, it's a symptom of an underlying issue, which is the heart.
Okay, let's chop that up. You said the power that he brings.
The power that he brings to heal the heart. See, scriptures declare that out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Right? In other words, all our behaviors, all our ideologies come from the heart. Right?
Absolutely. What did you call it?
Sure. It's the diseased heart, and we talked about that, right? And we're talking about the spiritual heart. That's the fountain of all the issues of life, where we think, where we desire, where we feel. And so racism is birthed out of the condition of our heart.
That's good stuff.
And so what Jesus does is that when he comes into our life through his spirit, right? This is real.
Right.
When his spirit enters the realm of a man's and a woman's heart, he brings with him the omnipotence of God, the power to heal the heart of humanity. In fact, we can't heal ourselves.
No, not at all.
As much, and we can identify with that, because how many times we were set to do the right thing and ended up doing the wrong thing and so forth. And so I love the answer that that Jesus is the answer. We need a source. We need someone who can identify and relate to our struggles that can heal. The physician of the soul. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know I seen this thing on Facebook and it said, how can you hate God's creation? And it said whether it's black or white, we're still created equal. How can you hate God? How can you love Jesus? That's what it was. How can you like Jesus Christ and love Jesus Christ but hate His creation?
That's
Yeah,
good.
like that's I mean, as simple as that. Like
That's good.
You know,
Real good point.
that's strong. I think I put it on my Facebook.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, that was awesome. See, that was awesome what you mentioned. And I think about the gospel in particular, and how the gospel speaks directly to racism. Because racism is built on a false premise that somehow or another one race, and it doesn't matter what race it is, but one race believing to be more superior based on unique features that particular race has, and so racism assumes that certain class of people are inherently different, but the reality is that inherently we are the same.
Oh yeah.
We are fundamentally the same.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's the differences that are superficial. Alright.
Yeah.
There are some differences between, one person or one race against another, but they are superficial.
Okay.
Skin pigmentation,
Yeah.
texture of the hair and so forth. Those are superficial, but what makes us human, those fundamental features, we all possess. It's common in one class of people in the next class. And so I love that foundational bedrock scripture upon which the gospel is built. John 3:16. And we can all quote that in our sleep.
Right.
And it just begins, and I just want to focus on what it begins with. For God so loved the world.
Yeah.
Right? Notice what it didn't say. For God so loved a particular race.
Yeah.
No, but he said, for God so
loved
loved the world. That's all inclusive. Every race is involved in the world. And I love the term love. This isn't an emotional love. It's agape love. And it's the love of estimation. It's a love that assesses the worth and the value of an object. And so we could easily substitute value for love. And so in other words, if we read it that way, it would say, God so valued the world. God so valued Miss Gwen. God so valued Todd. God so valued Steve, myself. God so valued you that he saw it reasonable and worth his son dying for you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
If that doesn't give us supreme significance, just that alone, then nothing else does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the gospel speaks directly to racism. Is that it's a fallacy. It's not a reality. Even though we're acting these things out, it's not justifiable at all, because we were all, as mentioned, were created equal in the image of God, the imago Dei, all right, which gives us our supreme worth and uniqueness. Absolutely, that's something I understand. Sure. So family, what are some practical ways, exercises that we can take to dissolve this issue of racism? What's some practical ways?
Well, one, we can get to know another race, get acquainted with them,
Sure.
to share with them, get to know them, step into each other's life.
Absolutely.
That's one way.
I think that's powerful. I think that can go for anything, Miss Gwen. Anybody that we don't know, because I think it's human nature to formulate an idea about people based on the knowledge that we have,
Right.
but the knowledge we have may not be sufficient.
Right.
Or it may not be correct or accurate, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I believe that a lot that adds to racism is the fact that we're being informed by a certain source that may have an agenda.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But the best, you know, the best source to know what a person is like is getting to know that person.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And so,
Best form of
and
communication.
so, absolutely. So I am convinced that if we, and again, it may take some courage. It's gonna be uncomfortable because we're gonna have to step out of our comfort zone.
Gotta be open-minded.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
open-minded.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And cross those racial barriers.
Yeah.
All righty.
Right.
And we have to be intentional about it. But this is the only way we're going to start making some progress and advances in addressing this issue. Somebody got to take the initiative to cross the barrier. And I believe when we do, don't ask what, but ask why.
That's good.
That's real good.
Do we need to chop that
I think
up?
we should
Or
chop that up.
all right,
Just
let's chop that up, y'all. So I believe that, and I was introduced to this principle when I began to go down to the juvenile center. I began working with BLAS, but there was, and I mentioned it in one of our episodes, that there was this posted saying, and it says. It said, you know my crime, but you don't know my name.
Yeah.
You know what I did, but you don't know why I did it.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was so profound because a lot of times we draw conclusions based on what people did. On the what.
And it's hard to convict somebody you understand.
That's it. You hear me? That's powerful.
Yeah.
And so we always draw conclusions on the what without considering the why.
The why.
Yeah.
You know, and all I'm saying is if people are racially biased, let's start asking the question, why?
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 Yeah.
How did you arrive at that position?
Yeah. That's good.
That's real good.
Any other ways, family, that you see would be helpful?
Well, no, I was gonna say what Ms. Gwen was saying about meeting people and just opening up because like I was saying, it's hard to convict somebody that you understand.
Right.
But the only way you can understand them is if you take the first step, like Ms. Gwen said, and actually introduce yourself and step into their world
Absolutely.
and learn a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And with that comes fear, you know, you fear the unknown. Most people are scared of what they don't know.
they don't know.
So, you know, as far as being able to step out on faith and be able to talk to somebody and be open-minded, you have to be willing to face your fears because there's something that you don't know that you've heard about.
Right.
And now you're going to take that step. I need to know for myself.
You might get a little uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
It's going to get very
uncomfortable, but it's worth it. You know, if we're going to deal with the issue and not the person, let's look beyond the person and deal with the issue.
Wow.
It's going to require some courage.
Yeah.
It's going to be some uncomfortability.
Stretching.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's going to be some
stretching.
awkwardness.
Yeah.
But these are so necessary if we're going to really combat this issue of racism.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So lastly, starting with our trusted leader here,
Yes, sir.
Steve. Steve, what's your appeal to the viewers? What's BLAS' appeal to the viewers concerning racism?
It's a hard issue. It's definitely a hard issue. We want everybody to know that love is the key to any hard issue. And most of the things that we go through are hard issues anyway.
Right.
Sure.
So being able to understand that he's the doctor to our illness,
Sure.
to be able to heal that heart disease. You know, so love, it's a heart issue. When we're dealing with the heart, it's usually a love deficiency. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, when you have that, you know, it's usually an issue.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ms. Gwen?
You know, I would have to agree totally with what he just said. It is truly a heart issue.
Okay.
And love covers a multitude
Yeah.
of faults.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a good word.
What's your appeal to the viewers?
To not be afraid to be uncomfortable.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's it.
Because being comfortable, Denzel Washington said it. Sometimes being comfortable is more detrimental to your success than being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about Peter when he stepped off the boat, had to be uncomfortable.
Sure.
Oh, very
Lost his faith, you know. When he began to sink, you can see what that uncomfortable took over. You know what I mean?
Because he took his eyes off of Jesus.
Took his eyes off of Jesus.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
So
That's it, family. We just want you to side with us. Come alongside with us in our efforts to listen. Just hear. Be willing to hear. That's,
Be human.
I mean, you know, that's
Be
it.
human.
You know, and let's look beyond.
yeah.
Let's beyond the superficial differences. And
Yeah.
let's see the soul of the person behind the racism or the racial tension and biases. And let's just hear. Let's just be willing to hear the story of people. Let's start asking people about their stories.
Exactly.
And I believe that when you see that their story, that their stories are relatable to you, and that you very well can be in the same position, considering the circumstances, I think that now we're open to work toward remedial efforts to try to get a hold on this issue of racism. Family, that's it. I mean, man, we certainly enjoy you all as always.
Right.
And we thank you for chiming in, and we also look forward to. We're looking forward to a lasting relationship with you. And here's Miss Gwen with our inspirational nugget.
Well, we were talking today, I think we all had nuggets today, because we were talking about humanity. And everybody got an answer for humanity, but for me, starting with me, it's a heart. And maybe if we just start by looking at our own hearts and let the healing begin there.
That's awesome.
That's perfect.
That's it. It begins with heart. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, viewers, we just thank you for your time. We ask that you come back next week where we'll talk about racial equality and equity.
Yes, sir.
So we hope to see you next week, and we thank you.
God bless you.
God bless.
God bless you.
Time to close us out with a prayer.
All right. Heavenly Father, we come before you as humble as we know how. Thank you for allowing us to gather together again as one fold under your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Just ask that you continue to be with us and watch over and guide us and protect us. Amen.
Amen.
So join us next Friday at 7 p.m. as we chop it up on the BLAS Chop. The Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, and may He cause His face to shine upon you. Amen.
Yeah.
Bless you.